Hello, everybody, and welcome to Weird Ventures. My name is Derek, and I'm the Game Master today. We're going through Curse of Strahd, and we've got a lovely cast of people with us today. And we're gonna go in a fun new order, because I like to keep people on their toes. So the first person to introduce themselves today is going to be our friend Forum. I forgot to turn on theater inserts, so I guess I'll have to wait till next week.
Good job, Derek. Good job.
Yep.
If you like that, though,
It gave
it's
us a
fine.
warning and everything. Just
I
like,
sure did.
Maybe we were prepared for it. Shame.
Hello, my name is Megs. I'll be playing for our resident fairy fighter cleric. Also, I'm sick, so sorry ahead of time.
No worries. That just adds to the general atmosphere of Barovia, people coughing and dying in the streets. But next up, we're gonna go to Penny.
Hi, this is Jennifer, and I'm playing Penny Peanut Posey Poppy Your Garden, your Phantom Forest Gnome. Phantom Rogue Forest Gnome.
Absolutely. Hopefully not just a straight up phantom yet. That'll
Maybe she
bring
is.
us.
He is
Maybe.
very sneaky.
He is very sneaky. That will then bring us up to Ina.
hi, my name is RJ. I play Ina, the Halfling Enchantment Wizard.
Yes, indeed. And then next up, of course, is Biner. Uh-oh.
Hi, this is Chris. I'm playing Binur the Wise. I am a star druid Loxodon.
Yes, indeed. Looking like a cowboy at the moment. And then, last but not least, that will bring us to Balthazar, whose art wasn't loading, but now it is. There we go.
Listen, he takes his time. Hello, I'm Cosmic, currently playing Balthazar, the Azamar Grave Cleric.
Yes, indeed. What a lovely cast of characters that we have today. As I said before, going through Curse of Strahd, and we're going to figure out who's going to be doing our recap here. But before we do that, I just want to say, if you enjoy watching our games, I definitely recommend following us on Twitch or subscribing on YouTube. Give us those likes, tell your friends, all that good stuff. All of our episodes are on YouTube, so if you want to catch up, that's the place to go. So yeah, would anybody, it's been a week, we took a week off, would anybody like to do the recap, or remember enough to do the recap, for some sweet, delicious inspiration, or would y'all like me to take it away today?
I got this. I
Go
will
for
take
it.
back my crown.
Yeah!
So I believe last we picked up, it was right after we completed a sort of pseudo-ritual done by Binur, Balthazar, and Porum, as they figured out, hey, these souls trapped in their undead bodies can be, put to rest. Because he was kind of troubling Balthazar quite a bit, as his whole religious order is based on freeing the undead and sending them off to the next life, essentially.
Yeah.
But luckily we figured it out. It'll be only saved for, when we have the time to do so. And, aren't being swarmed by other things. Because it takes quite a bit. I think at least a minute, from what you described, Eric.
Yeah, it takes all three of y'all working together.
Yeah. But, we figured that out. And, can't remember the exact discussions that went on, other than, Porum got yelled at for doing big flashy magics,
Yeah.
when, he probably shouldn't have. especially in a town that's like extremely wary of magic. It turned out someone did seem to see it, and it was the Periwimple. Sweet Periwimple happened to oversee it. I believe there was a quick discussion on whether we take him with us. That was quickly shot down because, one, he's a civilian, and two, he is a civilian, and likely would not be the best to bring in combat that we would likely be facing. We continued onwards through the path towards the manor, and when we got close to it, there seemed to be an undead siege happening with a zombie horse carrying an older gentleman, or I think older. I don't know how old he looked. At least 30s,
Yes.
but
Was having a little fight. The fellow that y'all learned name was Ismark, and I'll show off his art again, so get a better feel for him.
yeah, Ismark, and we all joined into the fray and spent the majority of combat fighting through all of the undead. We found the woman that Biner was looking for. I forgot her name.
It was Irina.
Irina. There we go. Yeah, we found Irina, and then we found fucking
Vasily?
Vasily. There we go. I knew it started with a V, but Vasily. There was some simping happening when Vasily came into the picture. I'm not gonna lie.
There certainly was.
More than. uh, so we found them in the middle of a siege, and immediately set up to, help them out as they were trying to get to, well, they were all trying to leave, but, lady refused to leave without her father's, coffined up corpse, because, feared they might turn him into something far more sinister.
Indeed.
It was a pretty tough combat, but we were handling it, and suddenly there was a vampire in the midst of combat. I don't think he got. Well, no, he did get to do much. He bit Ophelia, which sparked up a bit of rage in Balthazar, quite a little bit. But we eventually dealt with them, finished off what we could of the undead, and were able to run away and escape.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the alleyways in Little Barovia, we took a bit of a pause to catch our breath, take a bit of a break, and discuss options. The two siblings wanted to take their father to the church and have him entombed as soon as possible, while Vasily offered to silver up some of our weapons. So, as I think a sort of repayment for helping them out, and also because, we're adventurers and are likely gonna be dealing with these kinds of creatures again. So, while that goes down, I believe he shared with us as well some secrets about the church and how there's a vampire in its cellar or basement or whichever it is, sort of locked in there, and Strahd has tasked the priests of that church and all of their predecessors before them to keep that vampire locked in there. We're not allowed to free him, and they're not allowed to feed him. He is meant to stay there and suffer, lest Strahd come in and fuck their shit up, essentially.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty good.
Vasily wasn't comfortable going there anyways, because Monster Hunter. and he would feel the need to, get rid of it. So he offered to do the silvering of the weapons while that happens, and we helped escort the siblings in their father's coffin towards the church. Any and all conversations that happen during such a walk, we're just not gonna, pick up. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Thing is fine, huh?
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
But I believe we dropped the episode ended just as we reached the church.
And it did. Definitely take that inspiration. There's one thing I'm going to add, is I want to be a good game master. And I did mess up something in our last session. As I said, that Ophelia's bite was fine. It looked like it was going to heal up right away. That isn't entirely true. There's not going to be any turning into a vampire or anything. You all rolled a high enough medicine. But I forgot to mention that when a vampire bites you, it does necrotic damage. It does temporarily reduce your maximum HP until you take a long rest. So,
Oh shit.
y'all at least now know that that's a thing that vampires do. It's not going to matter too much because we don't have Corey here with us today, but I wanted to make sure that that was information that y'all got because you rolled high enough for it, and vampires in the future are going to be doing that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yes, y'all are making your way to the church. The church, which we have up on screen here, as Ismark is sort of carrying the coffin tied up on his back. A bit heavy, bit unwieldy, but he's making the journey next to his sister. And as y'all approach, you would see that atop a slight rise against the roots that support the castle Ravenloft, looming in the distance among the trees back there, you would see a gray, sagging edifice of stone and wood. This church has obviously been weathered by the assaults of evil for centuries on end, and is worn and weary. A bell tower rises towards the back. Flickering light shines through the holes on the shingled roof. The rafters strain feebly against their load. You would notice front doors are heavy, made of wood, covered in ancient claw marks, still bearing the scars of old fires. This is the place, Ismark would say, and make his way up. It's a little bit quieter than last time that I came here, though.
Quieter.
Well, usually you can hear the screaming of the, door.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's, sure is something, they'll say, for giving the door a few knocks. And as soon as he does, you do hear this muffled sound seemingly coming from beneath the earth itself. Just sound of a door, maybe somewhere inside, shaking, chains rattling. A few more moments pass, though, as that noise subsists, and the door does open. As it does, I'll reveal who you see. Older fellow, this priest, with large bags under his eyes. Looks like he is weathered nearly as long as Ismark and Irina have without sleep, if not longer. As he opens the door and says, Ismark, Irina, glad to see that you are both safe. To come in, glances behind. Oh, these new visitors to our village. Irina nods, says yes, they helped us get out of our home. I think it's a bit of a lost cause by this point, but they really helped us out of a bad situation there. Sort of glancing behind at the five of you. As Ophelia did say that she wanted to try and use that coin that she had. And then flipped to go and talk to the Graveseekers, so that's why she won't be with us today.
Ooh.
Father nods and says, I heard tales that most churches are better than mine, so I apologize in advance, but you are welcome to come in, get out of the rain. He'll open the door, invite all of you inside if you'd like to go.
Do we want to go in?
I'm gonna head on in.
I'm gonna follow behind Manure.
All right.
Balthazar will step in after them and give the priest a small bow as he does so. And quiet, thank you for having us.
He gives a small bow back to you with respect as y'all begin making your way in.
Porum would just investigate the claw marks on the door.
Absolutely. Make an investigation roll.
Yeah. There it is.
Ooh.
9.
They look old, but it's hard to tell what caused them and how.
Oh, I forgot to give myself guidance. Oh, wow.
Ina will walk up to the doors, looking at Porum, and just kind of look over the claw marks silently and just try to, as well, guess what they are, but not say anything.
Go for it.
Damn it, Ina. Damn it, Ina.
So these aren't just old. These claw marks are ancient. Because you got a 15, I'll also give you a chance to roll an Arcana for
Ooh.
you. Touch some of them and recognize that attempts have been made to repair these claw marks. They have simply opened themselves back. As if it is some permanent stain on this place that cannot be removed. But a 15 will not be enough to know exactly what caused them. Only that it seems this place is cursed to look in this state of disrepair, to the point where the people who might have at one point tried to make it look better have simply given up. As if the soul of the church itself is wounded.
Interesting. Are we all going in? Then? And Ina's just gonna look uncomfortable and then look around at the surrounding area.
Would you prefer to stay outside?
Yes, honestly. But I have a feeling I won't be allowed to stay outside.
We can ask for you. I mean, I'm sure they have some sort of outside cover for the rain, although it might not be in the best condition.
I think this town's in the best condition.
This country's not in the best condition.
Sure
Is
ain't.
this even a country or is it simply a kingdom? Derek,
Yeah.
what do I roll for a vibe check on the inside of the church?
You don't have to roll. Because as you pass over the threshold, you hear this coming from beneath the floorboards. Father! Please! I'm so thirsty!
Hmm.
And of course, the father winces a bit at this, looking sullen. You can roll me an insight if you like.
Guided. Before I forget.
Guidance on yourself.
No, for you.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. 1d4. Yikes.
Blew it.
Even as in that one, I mean, you aren't able to read Donovich too much, but, you know, bad vibes
Bad
from
vibes
down
all
below.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think no matter what the insight would have been, Balthazar hearing the screams, having already been uncomfortable, just hearing it vaguely muffled, but I think inside the church it'd be clearer, right?
Oh, yes. It is, like,
He's-
directly from below you.
He is taking a full step back towards the door, just very deeply uncomfortable with it.
May
If
wait
people pay
outside.
attention to him, his hand is like clenching and opening, like it's tempting to grab his knife.
Mhm. The father does look sullenly back at you. I do understand if you wish to wait outside. It is scarring, and I apologize.
Orm's just going to place a hand on Balthazar's arm and give him a look of concern and just nod his head and just say, "It's okay. It might be best if maybe you stay outside with Ina. Give him some company for now. I think Penny, Binur, and I can figure things out in here."
Well, mm, torn he is. Just, let's see. What do I have? Wait, did we? I feel like we. No, wait. Okay, hold on. This is fine. I will wish you all the best of luck then. But he's going to pat Porum on the shoulder, but as he does so, I believe, it just adds hit points to it. Just in case, he's gonna cast a 3rd level aid.
Cool.
Yeah. Just
That does get it to 3 people. So,
yes. He's focusing on the 3 of them. And
gotcha.
like he's pulling in the power as much as possible so it's not too visibly obvious. But he'll put it on Penny, Porum, and Binur since they'll be inside of here for the time being. So
it
y'all
is BS and M, verbal, somatic, and material. So I will need. I'll give you a choice between a deception or a sleight of hand. It's stealthy about this.
you know what? Let's go with deception. I see Porum is once more giving a guidance.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Forum, that is also vocal instrument. You can make me a deception or a sleight of hand as well.
Deception or sleight of hand, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
This is oh, ooh,
You're
not bad.
you're able to do it pretty dang sneaky. Balthazar's deception. Yeah. You know,
He's just
Irina and
mostly saying it
Ismark
like
already know
prayer.
that y'all can, but Donovich
Yeah.
isn't doing it, but or isn't really noticing too much.
Yeah, I think the most Donovich will see of it is more like a prayer,
Yeah.
but very faintly, there will be a few. There's just gonna be a slight shimmer to whatever like jewelry or something that all three of them have
Excellent.
before giving them like another once over, and he'll step outside with heavy tension on his shoulders.
Don't go too far now, okay?
I know she's just gonna offer up a middle finger as they're doing something. Can't even be bothered.
Right. The rest of
So
you
we have 5 temporary hit points.
5 to your
Temporary hit
max.
Yeah.
It's fun about 8
Just-
is it's not even temporary, it's to the max.
Yep. You just put in the little plus max thing on the hit points, and it'll be 10 for each of you.
It's good stuff.
So for example, like my HP is 41, right? Since adding 5 would be 41 out of 46 or 46 out of 46 for now.
I don't know if it heals you while
Okay.
it's.
It does heal you, so you get 5 HP right now to
Okay.
go with your raised max.
Oh, it would be 10 HP. I think.
Wow.
Because I did cast it at the 3rd level. It shows,
Oh, at
so
a
it
3rd
should
level?
add-
Okay, then yes.
Yeah.
It's 10 instead of 5.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So plus 10 to all of you, just in case. Because if you're going to be near a very active vampire, that might be very angry and could potentially escape.
Possibly.
Y'all have extra hit points.
But I will go ahead and describe some of the inside of the church to everybody else now. The 3 of you, as you enter, with Irina and Ismark and Donovich. The front doors of the church open to reveal a 20-foot long hall leading to a brightly lit chapel. The hall itself, however, is unlit. There is a faint smell of mildew. There are 4 doors, 2 on each side of the hall, that seem to lead to adjacent chambers. You can see that the chapel is strewn with debris. And you do hear Father Donovich murmuring an old prayer under his voice as he leads you all in. Every once in a while, an inhuman scream rises up from beneath the wooden floor. It causes him to wince as he takes y'all further in towards the chapel itself, which unfortunately is in shambles with overturned and broken pews littering the dusty floor. Dozens of candles mounted on candlesticks and candelabras light every dusty corner in a fervid attempt to rid the chapel of shadows, though they still seem to creep in amongst the cracks. At the far end of the church sits a claw-scarred altar behind which you'd see as Donofich gets himself prepared, gesturing for Ismark to set the coffin down before him. Next to him is a long, thick rope that stretches up into the bell tower. It says, I will need to take some time to prepare everything for the funeral, get the rites and the incense together. Welcome to make yourself at home in the meantime, if you'd like.
Thank you, Father.
Gives a small nod. Question for you, Porum.
Yeah.
Do you have a visible symbol that indicates that you're a follower of Lathander?
Let me double check real quick. I believe it's a brooch. It's where is it in my backstory? It's an emblem, so I would say, yeah, I would say yeah.
Okay. Before he leaves, he does turn to you. You heard the prayer your friend sang in this place. You can see that you are also a follower of Lathander.
That's
Are
right.
you from outside of the mists?
Porum kind of looks over to Penny and Viner with like the look like, should I say yes? Should I say no?
I'll kind of motion for him he can say yes.
Porum looks back to the father and just shakes his head slightly.
You say shakes his head slightly. Is that a no?
As a yes, sorry, like nods.
Okay.
Sorry, nods would be more appropriate.
All good. There is a very faint smile on his face, though it is a melancholy. I envy you. Sorry that you found yourself in these lands, however. I appreciate the blessings you are bestowing while here.
Of course, anything I can do to help you guys. It's my duty after all.
He gives a small nod of understanding, then go over and open the coffin to see Bergmaster laying there. He was a good man. It's a shame that it has ended like this for him. I know he will live strong in his absence, Ismark, Irene. I know that he would want the best for him. He'd say as he gently gives both of them sort of squeeze on the shoulders. And we'll then begin getting to work, preparing everything that might be needed for the funeral. And it seems like Rovians are maybe a superstitious bunch, have a lot of rituals. It's going to be at this for some time, getting everything prepared. So if you want to speak to him, if you want to speak to Ismark or Irina as they find one of these broken pews that's still standing enough to sit down on, you can. Or if you want to explore the church or do anything else, you've got some time to kill, is essentially what I'm doing.
I'm gonna go wander over to Ismark and sit down next to him.
Hey there.
And that, hey, how you doing?
Well, not dead, thanks to you and your friends. So, could be worse.
Well, you seem to be a pretty good fighter. Are you trained?
Father trained me, says, glancing over towards the coffin. He's probably best swordsman in Barovia.
That's a shame they lost someone that good then.
I think it is.
But I'm sure he was a good teacher and you will lead the people wisely.
I hope so. And he sort of glances over to Irina, who's looking through a window out at the graveyard behind the church. Part of me questions, though, if might be anyone else do something to the family line. I'm worried for her.
Yeah,
Get
well,
her.
what's with all those zombies attacking you guys? Why are they after you guys?
Couple of reasons, he'd say, as he glances down towards the coffin once more. He had a plague that came through right around the time Strahd called for the blood tax. A lot of our people couldn't afford to spill any extra. Symptoms made them anemic and be great risk. My father didn't want to sentence people to die, but Strahd doesn't really give us much choice. He gave my father a choice, which was that he could either hand over my sister to be his bride, or he would come take the blood himself. It wasn't a choice that my father could make. So the zombies came. They got their blood money, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, I understand that. Why does Strahd have the hotties for your sister? Any particular reason?
Not entirely sure. He says quietly as he looks to her. Father offered our blood instead of our people's. At first, maybe just some of it could save him. Offered his own body. He didn't take that though. He decided to take Irina's, and when we decided to protest, he charmed us. After tasting her on the wrist, he would say, and you would recall Irina showing you the bite that lingered there. He seemed certain of something. He called her Tatiana, and wished to make her his bride. My father refused. He said, essentially, very well, if you think you can protect her better than I can. Let's make a game of it. And then the hordes game.
Well, I think you won.
I guess we did. He says with a few low chuckles and glances towards the coffin once more. It's a cost. But we're out of there now, thanks to you and your friends. I wish there was
Where are
more
you
that
gonna
I could
go
do.
after this?
Well, got two options, really. I've heard good things about the church in Vallaki. Like this, that, unlike our town here, the church there might actually have some small amount of godly magic protecting it. I've also heard in the past Donovich has spoken of the Abbey of Kresk, but he's been more quiet about it lately. He kind of shakes his head. I don't know if there's really anywhere that's actually safe, but I have to at least try.
Well, let us know when you're thinking about leaving town, and maybe if we're leaving about the same time, we can escort you guys. The guy Porum over there, he's a pretty good fighter. I'm sure he could take out Strahd with one shot, so I'm not too worried.
He smiles a little bit over at Porum. You certainly appreciate the offer. I already feel like I owe all of you enough, but I also don't think I'm really in a position where I can afford to refuse. If you'll be making your way to Vallaki anyway, the roads can be dangerous. I suppose we would have a better chance together than alone.
So Noor's gonna kind of reach in and pull out the picture that he's been holding close to him and show it to him and say, "Have you seen this person anywhere around here?"
Which picture is this?
Balthazar's one that he
You got nervous about?
yeah.
Yeah, Ismark brings a hand up to his chin. You can see he's seriously trying to search through his memories as best he can, because how much y'all have helped him. He's got any way he could possibly help you. He's trying his best, but for a while he just shakes his head. I'm afraid not.
That's okay. I'm just looking for this person, see if they're still alive or anything. I
do
got
see
another
them.
picture I'd like to show you,
Oh,
if you don't mind.
certainly, but before that, if I do end up seeing this person at some point, I don't know if I'll always be able to split our ways, but if I do see them, let them know. Try
Don't let them
wary of
know.
them.
Yeah, just somehow communicate. We'll figure a way you can communicate to me and only me on this, okay?
He looks a little surprised at that exact wording, but all right, I'll do that.
Okay, I have one other photo, a drawing that I'd like to show you, and you pull out the one of the drawing where it was the Loxodons walking to a place, so it looked like a temple or something. And he'll ask him if he knows where this is.
He glances at it, and I don't recognize that place in particular, but I do recognize that. He points to the star above the temple. Sudan, the corpse star.
The corpse star, you're calling it?
Yes.
Why is that?
People have myths. It's a place of, or rather, not a place, sorry. It's related to tales of necromancy, bringing a loved one who's passed back to life. People praying to the star, and hearing strange voices in their minds. Most of the tales are tragedies. Though,
Yep.
I won't lie to you, most tales in Barovia are tragedies. So it's not really
And is it?
specific.
Does the sun ever come out here, by the way?
He'd shake his head. No. Heard tales of the son from Donovich. She heard from his grandfather, passed down to him. Never seen such a thing. Supposedly it's like some torch in the sky. Brings warmth. Sounds interesting, to say the least.
Well, it definitely is. It's concerning, though, you haven't seen the sun in a long time, or you've never seen it, I guess.
My father
One more.
hadn't either.
Yeah, that's if it's grandfather's passing down the message, that's kind of concerning. One last question, and I'll let you get back to your thoughts about your dad. But he'll point to the Loxodons in the photo, or into the drawing, and say, "Have the other side of he'll say a little lower me. Have you seen any more of these kinds in these lands?"
I won't lie to you, and no offense. I have never seen anything even close to what you looked at.
I am one of a kind, they say.
I'll agree with that. I'll say. Give you a couple pats on the.
Well, I'll let you get back to your prayers. And again, I'm sorry for your father. And hopefully we can help you get out of this town.
It
To a
actually,
safer...
not to interrupt, but actually did want to ask. I don't know if you'll be comfortable watching after Irina for me, but before the funeral happens, I did want to go pick something up.
Yeah. I'd gladly watch over your sister for you.
Thanks. I got a instrument commissioned. The old father liked hearing me play. My old one had broken, so figure I should play something for him one last time before I make my way to Valoki.
That would be nice.
Thank you for the talk, he'd say, with a genuine smile on his lips. For
He'll reach out and kind of just squeeze his shoulder and Give him a smile back.
Yeah. For that, he'll get up and make his way over to Irina and seemingly let her know that he's going to be out for a short time. While this is going on, though, what are Penny and Porum doing?
We're investigating.
All right.
Chatting, and now Penny's walked down the hall towards the door and towards the door to outside,
Mm-hmm.
and she's gonna turn to the left and try the first door that's in the hallway to see if it.
All right. So, just so I have my bearings right, are you facing the door as if you're about to leave when you go to the first one on your left?
Yes.
Okay. So, first door on the left. As you open that door, it isn't locked. You'd see a dirty room that contains a wooden bed with a straw-filled mattress, next to which rests a small table with an oil lamp burning brightly on it. Mounted above the headboard is a wooden sun-shaped holy symbol, which if Porum is peering in, Porum would recognize as a symbol of Lathander.
You think this is the priest's room?
Seems like it.
Okay. I'm not gonna search through anything there. I'm gonna turn around and go across the hall to the next room
All right.
and try that door.
Yeah. You give that door a little creak as it opens up. And as it does, you'd see an old desk and chairs stand against the south wall, a wooden holy symbol mounted above them. There's a sunburst shape on this holy symbol. A 10-foot long iron rod attached to the north wall stands bare, suggesting a tapestry once hung there. Against the far wall stands a wooden cabinet with 4 tall doors made of glass. You can see there appears to be some kind of bookcase.
Okay, can I go over to the bookcase and try to open the doors and just look through the books for anything that might come in handy to us or might look interesting or useful for us?
Yeah, you can walk in there and open it up, give a look. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
Guidance.
I roll it at normal.
And then you can add 4, roll d4.
All right.
And then do I roll a d4 also?
That you do.
Hold on.
All right. A total of a 19. So, a lot of these books are hymns of the dawn, which is essentially sort of like a biblical text relating to Lathander. You know, a lot of the tales of Lathander and his deeds and things like that are in there. And Porum, you're probably somewhat familiar with these, though again, this seems like a very old version of this text to you. But amongst them, there is another book that does stand out. Let's see here. There is a book that reads as such: The Blade of Truth, the uses of logic in the war against diabolist heresies, as fought by the Ulmist Inquisition.
Does that sound like a book that's familiar to Porum?
Nope.
Let's just I'm just gonna pocket it and I'm just gonna take it anyway. I'm gonna just hold on to it.
Absolutely.
might come in handy. I don't know. Looks kind of heavy reading to me, but can always learn something new, right?
Absolutely.
Anything else in the bookshelf or nothing?
No, not really anything. Exploring the desk, you just see there's some blank pieces of parchment one might use to write letters and some jars of ink.
I'm gonna take the piece of parchment because I used mine, to write Ophelia a letter, so I might need it. Are there any drawers in the desk or anything that I can rummage through to see?
Yes, but I won't make you roll for it because there's
Okay.
not anything interesting to find. It is mostly just jars of ink and more paper.
Okay, so I'll take actually a jar of ink, and then maybe a couple other pieces of paper, just in case, like for Ina or anybody that might need them.
Absolutely.
I'll leave some for the priest, but I don't know how much he's gonna need it.
Yeah.
I'll leave a few pieces for him, but I'll take the rest and take a jar of ink.
Sounds good.
And then there was nothing else other than an empty space or a tapestry hung and a holy symbol. There really wasn't anything else in that room, right?
Yeah, I would have let you know with a 19.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna walk out and I'm gonna turn to the left, so back towards the chapel, and I'm gonna try the next door on the left.
All right.
So right next to the one I was just in.
Oh. When you do, Donovich will say, basically, shout from where he's at, because he's been completely fine with you investigating these doors so far. But at this point, he says, I please ask that you do not go into that room.
Why? What's in here?
It's dangerous. That's the hatch that leads down to the basement.
And what's in the basement?
It's around this time that you would hear clawing directly below you. Father, please, just a drop, just one. And Donovich would glance downward and say, door is the basement. He is not allowed to be freed from there, I'm sorry to say.
You said the name was Dorm?
Doru, I'll spell it for you.
Doru. Okay.
And who's Doru?
Tale I was told by my grandfather and his grandfather before him is that Doru was an old hero. Someone who stood up to Strahd along with a group of others the long past. One of the heroes of the Dawn who actually managed to slay Strahd at one point before he came back. The vengeance, the mists once again closing around this land just as we had thought we'd seen freedom.
How old is he?
I wish I knew.
You don't even have a guess?
My grandfather,
Hundreds of years old? Thousands of years old? 50 years old?
at least hundreds. My grandfather and my grandfather before him watched this place. Perhaps
Why-
further back than that.
And how is he alive still?
He is cursed with vampirism.
But
Strahd,
he's...
Oh.
How are you feeding him?
we are not.
Then how is he alive?
Vampires do not die when they don't feed. They merely suffer, he would say.
And again, I'm sorry. Why is he in the basement? Like, what did he? I know he's a vampire or he's got vampirism, but is that why he's in the basement?
It's in the basement because Strahd made his return. He wished for Doru to suffer.
Okay, so
Doru organized a group of adventurers in this church. The ones that killed him at one point. So Strahd wished to make it his prison. Turned him, locked him inside, and told us, should he ever be released, fed, or killed, Strahd would deliver upon us the same fate the people of Berez felt. Their town was flooded. Berez is not a name you've heard yet. He will explain. Their town was flooded. Their people slain. I think there are only a few of them left in existence, live near the outskirts of Falaki, who are completely wiped from the face of this land. It was my duty to make sure that this does not happen again. It's my family's duty. It's a terrible, terrible burden to carry, but I must.
But how would Strahd know if you fed, killed, or released? Oh, released I could see, but killed or fed him at least.
Strahd has a way of knowing things. He simply does. I don't know how. It's not something I can risk. There may not be many people left in our village, but I cannot sacrifice them on a whim, as much as it pains me to hear that day in and day out. As wrong as it is, as much as I know he suffers.
well, what would happen if, like, one of you, like, accidentally cut yourself and the blood, like, dripped down through the floor and he got a taste of blood? You didn't really feed him, but, like, he kind of accidentally did. What would happen then?
I fear for what would happen.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I fear for what would happen then.
What do you think would happen? Would Strahd come for you?
He might. Do not have the power to stop him. He did decide that.
And do you have any idea how to stop Strahd?
He shakes his head now. If the tale I was told was true, supposedly, Doru helped kill him once. He even came back from that. Don't.
And how did Doru know how to kill him?
Assuming it was stake to the heart. Not entirely sure.
So you don't know where Doru learned how to kill him? Or
He does not. It seems just from the look on his face. You can tell he's thought about this a lot.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn to the door that I'm not allowed to go behind, and I'm gonna yell, "Hey, door! How'd you kill Strahd?"
Oh, you wish to hear. You wish to hear. And you hear the sound of, it sounds like maybe a trapdoor in the floor with chains on it, just shaking as if somebody is grabbing it from below and just trying desperately to break free. I'll tell you, yes. I'll tell you, just come open the door. I'll tell you everything. Creature that put me here, just come here in the door. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Porm and go, "Guess that didn't work." And then I'm just gonna turn my back to the door, and I'm gonna go into the last room in the hall that's in the hallway,
All right.
if I can.
Absolutely. The last room is surprisingly clean. A bit too clean. A bit too empty. There is a wooden bed there that has no blanket on it, no pillow. There is sort of an indent on the wall as if a holy symbol once hung from there, but does not anymore. It is very Spartan, as if somebody had just moved out.
And then I turn around and look at the priest, Donovich, and say, "Hey, whose room was this? Where'd they go?
This is Veryl's
How long
room.
did they leave?"
That was Veryl's room before he went on his pilgrimage. Changed him. Donovich will say, solemnly, as he started setting some incense up around the coffin.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna look at Porm and say, I guess he doesn't want to talk about him. And there is nothing in that room. There's nothing under the bed. There's nothing. Just the empty bed.
Yeah, it is. Somebody moved out of there quite thoroughly.
Okay. All right. Just gonna look at Porm. Well, that was exciting. Should we go back and see if they need any help in the chapel, or should we head outside and see what the other two are up to?
I'm going to see if I can maybe push some more questions about Veryl from Father Donovich. If you want to go see what the other two are doing, you can if you want, or you can come accompany me. It's up to you, Penny.
No,
Am I-
I'll come with you, because I want some answers too, and I don't like that he just doesn't want to talk about that person.
It's a little too secret for my liking.
Exactly. So I'll just hang with you. We'll go pester him a little bit more.
You will see
Right.
Ismark on the way out. He just walked past. I'll be back soon.
Don't go too far, okay?
I'm just going to be heading down to build rats. Stop, see if Periwimple is there.
Porm's just going to walk a little closer to the door and just shout, "So you're going outside, is that right, Ismark?" And kind of just try to give like a heads up to Balthazar and Aina that, hey, someone's coming if you're doing magic shit or doing some suspicious shit.
Well, Ismark
Stop
has
it.
already seen y'all do magic shit.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Never mind.
You leave me in my hut alone.
All
I'm
good.
pretty sure the hut is. You don't see the hut? I know there's like. It's a colored dome, but I'm pretty
It
sure
is a colored dome.
You do see the hut.
Before Ismark leaves, can I run up to him? I'm going to give him the little wooden frog that Periwimple gave to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Ismark to give this back to Periwimple and tell him that we hope he's safe and that we're thinking about him.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
He should remember. And if he doesn't, just tell him, just say Sunflower, and he should remember who we are.
All right. Certainly.
Thank you.
Of course. He'll give you a little wave as he goes. So yeah, you all been doing a lot of text RP. Is Ina just set up in a hut next to the church?
It's off to the side of the church, like not near the front door, but enough that it would be easier to blend to the surrounding church. It's like greenery, stone colored.
Right. But
Obviously, it's still a hut, but
a
I'm safe in the hut for 8 hours at least.
sphere of strangeness. Okay. I'm sure nobody is going to notice that and be weirded out.
It's fine. They can't enter it.
Yep.
Is it Pizza the Hut?
Yeah. So what are the two of y'all getting up to outside?
Oh, this is chit chat mostly and getting themselves fixed up and clean while not getting rained on, I would think.
Mhm.
But I know was explaining about their whole deal with churches. Brain is trying to translate written work to words. Hold on a sec. Cosmic.exe is loading. Please wait.
I can hear the dial-up noises.
Listen. It's loading. Give me a sec. My brain is not ready. So Heina just asked why Balthazar doesn't want to enter the church. he'd pause in his mending over his coat and kind of gives Ina a sort of thankful little smile for the prestidigitation, but he's just gonna glance over towards the church, where I assume they could see it since it's transparent on the inside. Yeah.
Yes.
I simply think I should have heeded Vasily's warning in terms of the vampire they keep under their basement. It's deeply discomforting hearing those screams and knowing putting an end to them would mean grave danger for the rest of the people here. So to avoid temptation, I thought it might be best to not go inside.
Wouldn't he stop screaming if they just fed him?
I don't think they're meant to. Vasily did say feeding him or killing him or releasing him would bring Strahd's wrath upon them.
How would he know if it was just like a little drop here or there? Oh wait, that's right. I remember now. The blood evaporates.
There is that. I know it likely doesn't mean much of anything, but I am sorry that whatever interactions you've had with some sort of church has been rather either violent or rather depressing, I would say, or I should assume. Seems awful, to say the least.
You seem alright. And poor, if not a little eager, seems alright.
I think the eagerness might be because of how young and green he still might be. Or at least he seems very new.
That is true. I vaguely remember when we first started that they said this was their first time out.
I think him and Penny both, if memory serves.
That is true. Ugh. This whole situation is very tiring.
Find it far more stressful than just tiring, but you're not wrong to say that.
I keep hearing about how Strahd's doing all these awful things, and we only heard of, what, one uprising? Seems a bit low, doesn't it?
I would think he's either quick to dispatch them or the uprisings we are hearing might just be localized. We might hear more if we end up traveling.
Traveling. Strahd keeps his eyes on new travelers. Why haven't we seen anyone else that is vaguely new to these people if he keeps his eye on newcomers? What is happening to them?
Well, one would hope at the very least they're simply still traveling. But when we were in the mists, time seemed strange, did it not? Maybe that has something to do with it.
It felt forever, but at the same time, logically, I know it wasn't as long as it could have been. Or at least, not logically, my body. My body says it wasn't that long, but my mind says it was longer.
How long did it feel like to you while you were in there?
Felt entrapping. It felt so long. Decades? Maybe? Maybe longer? It's just wandering with just a shadow for so long. Just and then I found everyone else, so based on everyone's appearance, it couldn't have been that long.
I would think not. Um, Could Balthazar do a quick insight on Aina? Just like watching their facial expressions as they were explaining how long it felt in the mist.
Yeah.
I don't know. Um,
Happy it's fall.
Well,
Yikes.
Porum, where's your guidance when they need it?
Right?
I swear.
As the mage.
He looks like he's being pretty honest about how long it was. He does seem to be casting more eyefuls at the shadow than anything.
Oh. Balthazar's gonna reach over and just sort of pat Ina's arm lightly, and if they might have a bad reaction to it, would be as quick to pull it away.
They look a little shocked at being touched, but they don't move towards or away. They're just kind of still.
He let his hand stay there for like a second before pulling it away. Are you still sure about keeping it? Considering
I think he could be valuable over time.
or what exactly?
Knowledge, mostly. Whereabout indicator. Still, the problem is taken care of. He's quite fascinating, I'm not gonna lie.
Fascinating.
He's not my shadow, but he is my shadow. I can converse with him, and there's just dullness coming back from him. It's odd. There's definitely a glint in Ina's eyes. He's talking about the shadow and just kind of like looking at him like utmost I want to consume the knowledge of this, but at the same time I'm going to use it.
Mm. And afterwards, if we happen to come across Balak again, perhaps bring him, somehow defeat him. What then?
For the shadow, or for Balak himself?
Both? Either?
I don't know. I'm supposed to bring Balak back, but I have a feeling he's not gonna want to go willingly. I've heard of magics that can transform people. Maybe something around those lines down the road would be more useful for that. Take him in a different form. Less hostile. As for his shadow, I see no reason to get rid of it at that time. maybe it'll have its use. I'll just let it go then.
Balthazar just kind of has a. It's not obvious, but his brows are definitely pushed together, and he does have a little bit of a frown on his face.
You're concerned.
Perhaps a little. A shadow is, in essence, akin to someone's soul. To have two seems worrying, to say the least. And
Are you worried I'll be corrupted? Because if I can be corrupted from it, it can be corrupted from me.
Balthazar is like really staring into Aina a little bit. That doesn't seem to make him feel any better.
There's just like this weird, serene blankness about Aina's face right now. He's very much more judging Balthazar's reactions than anything.
His hands kind of twist together around his coat as he stares Aina down a little bit more, head slightly tilted. It is ultimately your decision, but I only ask you be careful. You did. I don't know if it still remains, but you did mention that you did not want to end up like him.
I don't think I would end up like him if I avoid his pathing. But I also have different views of right and wrong from you. And it's very obvious. They were avoiding saying good and evil.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if you did. You've come from different backgrounds. Just be careful. Be wary. And I intend to keep the words I swore to you that day.
I'll start being more mindful when you take better position and care of yourself in battle. And I was just gonna raise an eyebrow and challenge.
Balthazar just kind of sighs. I think those are two entirely different things, Aina. But
To be
I will
around
make
long
no
enough to
promises.
keep. You'll have to be around long enough to see your first promise through.
I suppose. I make no promises to that at least, but I will. He looks hesitant. I'll try.
As will I. Nina's just gonna pull out the chessboard and just kind of motion to it.
Zar playing.
He'll let the subject drop for now, but stares at the chessboard. Sure, you'll likely beat me anyways, but he'll play with Aina.
You can begin your game. And, you know, y'all are playing together. So if Balthazar, you want to roll
Yes.
an insight, you can do that. And Aina, are you trying to teach, or are you just playing?
I am trying to teach, but at the same time, I am trying to glean more from Balthazar than anything.
All right.
Ooh.
You can roll an insight of your own.
Inside. Ooh, that's not that bad.
All right.
Damn.
I would like the two of you to ponder what the other might learn with their insight roll. What an 18 would let them glean. Y'all think about that. And we are going to take our 10-minute break here. We're going to come back
Oh.
with Biner speaking to Irene. So
Eee.
we'll come back at the
Ooh.
42-minute mark. I'll see y'all then.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back to Weird Ventures, everybody. We've been doing some role play at the church while a vampire beneath the floorboards screams at us. It's fun stuff. I believe Biner was just about to approach Irina. We headed off. We'll say that Irina was having a small conversation with Donovich. Before you did this, that's what he was doing for the most part. He breaks away to yell at the two tiny whippersnappers going into the bad room. He just sort of stares out behind into the graveyard as you make your approach, Biner.
Pardon me, lady, miss.
Oh,
Are you doing okay?
kind of blinks a little bit to startle her, facing out. Don't know if I'd say I'm doing okay, but yeah. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Sorry for your loss.
She nods her head a couple of times, looks back out to the fields of graves. More headstones than there are probably living people in town at this point. She'll softly say, I do wonder if maybe if I had said something that I don't know. Maybe a lot of this could have been prevented if I just went with him. Definitely
Well,
not to think of.
talking to your brother, I don't know if it would have made a difference and you would have been in a miserable marriage.
It might be that I she glances at the casket. Her voice sort of stops in her throat for a moment there. She thinks on something. Your father might still be alive. I guess. I don't know.
Well, hearing about this blood tax and all, I just have a feeling that you would have been swept away by this Strahd character, and he still would have died. So I think you guys did the right thing.
No, no point in dwelling on could have been, I guess.
I agree with that. Your brother said that you guys, obviously, after you take care of your father, will probably try to find a safer place, maybe one of the other churches. I offered my service at least. I assume the rest of the group will help, but um, we'll we'll try to help you get there if he's after you.
Father, well, he's hesitant, but I don't know. I'm starting to feel like I've caused this town enough troubles as is. So, yeah, we're gonna be making our way up to Valaki at least. You sure you want to travel together with us?
Yeah, we don't know this place. You guys obviously do, so you might be able to guide us, and we can give you a little extra protection.
Appreciate
And
it.
once you get there, are you going to go back to your bartending job?
She blinks for a few moments, quizzically at you. Um, what? What?
Well, I came across a drawing of you, and he'll kind of go through the drawings again and pull out the one of her as being a barmaid. Is this not you?
She stares at it. Um, for a very long time. Um, I've never had an outfit like that. She kind of extends a hand to take it. If you let her.
He'll hand it to her. Yep, he'll hand it to her so she can look at it closer.
Who 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 drew this?
A very nice little girl that we're actually looking for. Um, she drew it, so I thought maybe it was, you look very similar to this person, so thought maybe she saw you at one time in the tavern or in one of the towns or something.
It stares at it. Says, no, I tended the horses, but I've never worked at a tavern. Maybe they just saw me through a window and tried to draw me.
Have you ever been on a four-legged horse before? I'm not four-legged horse, but eight-legged horse.
She rolls the paper back up to hand back to you with a bit of suspicion almost in her eyes. Had a dream about that once. Why?
He'll look around and see if anybody else is listening, and he'll lean in a little closer and be like, when we traveled through the mist, I saw someone that looked just like you on a horse like that. Never seen a horse like that. And it's just, I'm trying to connect the dots of how you could possibly be in so many visions or drawings and not recognize any of it or remember any of it? And to you, you just said it's a dream. I'm trying to just, like I said, put the dots together.
Maybe she's a little overwhelmed because it's been a long day already, as you can imagine. As she's just sort of thinking on this. Don't know if maybe she's thinking very hard. Maybe it's a family member of mine. Donovich has told me. God, it's been a day. It's really been a day. Just told me that apparently Colian, she gestures to the body where their father lay, apparently found me in the mist when I was very young. I'm not actually logically part of the family. Maybe what you saw is someone related to me? Maybe. You can roll an insight for me if you like. You can tell, even with a 9, she's, the tiredness mixed in with everything else is weighing on her a lot, even with a 9. She's doing her best to be helpful, but she is struggling here.
Well, I don't mean to overwhelm you. I know it's been a long day. You had just said, though, that you might not be part of the family. Is this not your actual father?
Donovich said is true. Said that he's going to tell me about it one day. I guess one day just never came. Didn't want me to leave without knowing, I guess. Timing could have been a little bit better. Ismark is still my family. He's still the man who took care of me. Died for me. He's still my father, my eyes, but I don't know.
Well, that little one over there, Penny, she once gave me good advice that, you make your own family. So, so just because they're not biological doesn't mean, I didn't mean to say they were not your family. I apologize.
No, I understand. I'm still coming to grips with it myself. Those are good words. I know we pretty much just met, but anyone who's willing to risk their life for me, well, y'all might as well be family yourselves at this point. Me and Bismarck both really owe you all one. I don't know if there's anything we can do.
Well, there's really not, and don't think that you owe us something. All I would ask, it's not a big favor, is just if you maybe if we travel together, that you could maybe tell me more about the dream that you had about this person on the eight-legged horse.
He
Maybe it'll make more sense to me.
smiles a little bit and says, "Yes, I can definitely do that. And I don't know if your friends would be interested, but I saw the way that you fought there. I know how to use a sword, but it could definitely be better. No, teaching someone probably isn't the most fun thing to do, but if it means I can help protect all of you like you helped protect me on the road, I'm willing to learn, I guess."
Well, I'm not one that's well with the sword. I use this, and he'll just kind of, show the great club, but he'll point back to Penny and say, "That little one there, you want to learn how to take care of yourself. She's a master, it seems like, and she's always looking for a big sister."
I'll definitely have to ask, but thank you. Thank all of you. And she looks like she could use a hug, is all I'll say.
He'll lean down and, well, I guess he looks to be this will be awkward because he's in his cowboy outfit.
Yeah. A little bit.
So he'll lean down and give her a hug, but it's gonna look weird to the priest, I assume, of the proportion.
We'll say around this time he's going to be getting distracted by Porum and Penny, so you'll be okay.
Okay. But after the hug, though, he does, just as he's getting distracted with them, he does want to turn towards the priest.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going to yell, "Hey, priest, you owe this fine, beautiful woman here an explanation of what's going on. And I expect it after the burial here. She's waited long enough."
He sort of gestures to you a little bit. It's like, "Oh, he's told me everything he knows already. I appreciate it, though." Oh, and it's, a little shocked that you're raising your voice at him, but we'll just be like, anything that needs to be explained, I will. I think I was just about to explain something to your two friends over here. Glancing back, now we'll transition to Penny and Porum. As y'all have questions, I imagine.
Yes.
Well, while Porum's gonna approach him, Donovich, once they start talking, I'm gonna try to kind of sneak away and go check out the priest's room again, since we didn't really search it, but I don't trust him, so I'm gonna search his room.
Absolutely. And you can roll me an investigation check. He doesn't seem to mind people going into his room too much. But yeah, Porum, what did you want to ask him?
Porum's just gonna walk up to him and just ask, "Excuse me, Father Donovich, I don't mean to disturb you even further during your burial ritual, but you mentioned that Veril came back from his pilgrimage changed, and that's not the first time that I have heard of that. What do you mean exactly from change?"
He's already a pretty sullen fellow, but his face seems to sink further when you ask. He became meaner, I suppose you could say. And I do have to say, I feel like part of it, I don't know, be my fault, I'm not sure. The lights, candles, making sure this place stays as lit as it possibly can. I always spoke highly. St. Andrew's Church, Valaki, and the Abbey of Kresk. Some of my forebears made their own pilgrimages there in time when there were more people tending to this place. It was an easier thing to do. Here, St. Andrew's and Valaki in particular is beautiful. A place that actually feels at peace, where the morning Lord may actually even hear your prayers. It certainly feels as if he doesn't hear. I spoke fondly of them. It puts a sparkle in his eye, I suppose. He wanted to see those places. He wanted to bring that light back here, or at least that's what he said before he left. He was my only protege, the only person who took any interest in this somewhat cursed place. The village. I didn't want to see him go. The roads were dangerous. I didn't want to lose him. I could also tell that nothing I would say would change his mind. I can blame him. A place where one could actually be close to the gods, could actually maybe even hear their voice. I would do almost anything for such a place. To feel such a blessing. Aside from leave my post, put others in danger. So after enough times asking me, I gave my blessing. Waved goodbye to him. And he made his journey. When he came back, there were many things different about him. He'll say he struggles a little to light one candle, his feeble hands just a bit shaky. It was something more than just a want for bringing light to this place. There was some kind of ambition. He'd seen what Strahd had done to this land. Thought he could change it. And at first, that sounded wonderful. Change the world in what small ways we can, as I always say. You always have to be careful here, though. The light that shines brightest is the first to get snuffed out. He was reckless. That recklessness is directed at the wrong people. Strahd is often referred to as the devil in these lands. For many people, anything that resembles devils are to be scorned and feared. According to him, the church in Vallaki was indeed beautiful, but the town itself was infested with them. He was afraid the worship of fiends might come to Barovia town. That if it could be stopped, maybe stop Strahd, and he told me he had the power to do it. I asked him to exercise caution, to think about what he was saying, to broker peace. I was concerned about the nature of this power, but I must admit the demonstration that I saw was this beautiful bright light. It felt as though that magic he had touched on divinity somehow. The Morning Lords itself, but I couldn't understand how such a thing were possible. While fear rules the average commoner's heart here, both I and my forebears know love is the answer. There are those who are born with fiendish qualities, who are capable of great things. The party that stood up to Strahd so long ago supposedly was devil-born. Seeing what became of Farrell weighed on me greatly. Sorry, I know I rambled on a bit. I haven't really had anyone to do about this, I suppose. Please forgive me.
No, it's perfectly fine. I understand it was a lot to probably go through. Is there a reason why he left the church here? Was it just difference of opinion and he decided to leave?
It's because I, ultimately after the pilgrimage, didn't agree with his methods. I do
Makes
think
sense.
we should band together to fight against the undead. But his methods are rousing suspicion, neighbor against neighbor. While it is true, those closest to us are often the ones who can do us the most harm. I feel like we shouldn't give in to that fear. We should try to fight against it instead.
Now, you mentioned the worshipping of fiends. Was there something at the Abbey that he mentioned specifically that they were worshipping fiends?
He said in the Abbey of Cress, he spoke to an abbot there. Someone who claimed to have a genuine connection with Lathander. They were the one who gave him his divine abilities that he showed to me. The fiends were infesting Vallaki. The Abbey is at Crest.
Hmm. Sorry, I'm just reading through my notes here, trying to find any other.
Absolutely. If you want to think on it for a second, I can hop over to Penny.
Yeah, go to the Penny.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Penny, looking
Yep.
around his room, there is a sort of wardrobe that has plenty of clothes, though nothing terribly exciting, just more priest's garments. Single pair of shoes seem like they're maybe big boots for trudging out through the mud. Under his pillowcase, though, you would find a large bound book. Seems like it has enough room for quite a few more pages as well. That are... Seems maybe pages will be added on later. Appears to be a diary.
Can I kind of can I open it and read a few pages, like, I don't know, just like flip through it and skim some pages and see what
Yeah.
kind of information?
Absolutely. I'll give you a choice. Would you like to read something early, something in the middle, something recent?
Something in the middle.
Something in the middle. All right. Let's see here. Roll me a d4, if you will. Ah, it's all good. This is just letting me look at my improv prompts, see what it is that you read. So, you would read a passage that reads as such. It's been a few years now, but I still miss him. Walking around in his little robes. He always seemed so proud of me, even when I wasn't proud of myself. I asked myself sometimes why the Morning Lord choose to take my only son away from me. This land has taken so much already, placed such a burden on my shoulders. But I know it was not the Lord who took him from me. It's not his choice. I know he tries to reach through the fog, and it is hard for him. I must stay strong. Perhaps I will try and speak with Doru again tonight. though I doubt it will go any better or ease his suffering.
That's it.
That's the end of that page.
Okay. I'm gonna stick the diary in my bag. I'm gonna take it.
Alrighty.
Is there anything else in there? Under his bed, under the mattress, under the...
That there is not.
Okay. Then I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna leave his room and kind of look to see what's going on in the chapel.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of make my way back that way.
Sounds good. Porum, have you thought of anything that you might wish to ask or expand upon as Penny walks up?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. How should I state this question? You also mentioned that the party that stood up to Strahd before, the one that our vampire friend downstairs was a part of, was Devil-born. That's the first time I'm hearing about anything like that.
Yes, of course. There's a traveler who stopped by a while back who had a different name for it. Tiefling?
Tiefling, yeah, sounds right.
Yes, I believe something similar note.
Is there anything specific about the Tiefling? Like, were they female presenting, male presenting, androgynous?
Let's see. Thinks back on the story he was told. They're sort of dark, pale in complexion, a dark gray, large horns. I believe they were goat-like in nature. A wizard. I recall. Afraid I don't entirely know their name.
Did you give me anything else description-wise?
He's thinking on it. Let's see. Would there have been anything else? Supposedly he came from outside the mist. Just as you have, I presume.
So he was a male. Got it.
Yes. Sorry.
No, you're good. Did they explain what happened to him afterwards? Did he go back after the mist was dispersed? Did he stay?
Hard to say. I know what happened to Doru because it was very personal. You can imagine that was one of the bigger factors of the stories when they're retold. All I know for certain is that when Strahd returned, he eliminated those who had wronged him systematically, one at a time, making sure that they were separate, till the remainder of them gathered in Brez. And he destroyed that city with a great flood. is undead, marching through its ruined streets. I wish I had more than I could tell you.
No, this is all good information. Do you know where this? What was it called again? Peruvia?
Perez?
Perez. Sorry. Uh, do you know where Perez was originally located? Where? Oh, Perez, not Perez. I hear a P.
Sorry. Perez. He would say no one has traveled there in centuries. I'm afraid I don't know it the way personally. I've never left this village.
Okay. Think that's all I have for now. Oh, if we happen to come across Varel, any tips, tricks? Should we talk to him? Should we not talk to him?
He may try to rope you into one of his rallies. I would exercise caution. He does. I worry for him. At the current time, it seems, or rather it feels like the fear-mongering that he is bringing is causing just as much harm as it is good. So, I simply ask that you do what you must to stay safe. And to follow in the teachings of the Morning Lord, he says as he gestures to your holy symbol.
Or would just put a hand over his holy symbol and just give him a slight nod. Of course.
I will give you a keen insight based entirely on your backstory, the conversation you just had as he does this. The way he talks about the Morning Lord and the way that his voice is unanswered, it definitely reminds you a lot of yourself before you began this adventure. That same sort of feeling, reaching out and trying with all your might, just not hearing anything.
Taking notes. I'll take note of that. Okay.
While you do that, Minor, it sounded like you had something. Did you have something you wanted to speak to the Donovich about? Or am I misremembering?
No, I just yelled at him to make sure that she knows. That he explains to Irina her backstory, basically of.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Penny, you probably heard the last bits of that conversation. If you wanted to interact with Porum at all.
Is Donovich gone back to his business?
He can, unless you wanted to speak to him.
No, I don't want to speak to him.
All right.
I'm going to kind of lean over to Porum and kind of not real loud, but just kind of, hey, what did you learn anything? What did you find out?
We definitely have some things to talk about when we come back together.
Hey. got something too, so we'll have to talk later.
Of course.
Yes. We'll probably get the group all back together, but before we do that, I do want to see what the outcome of the chess match is. So, Balthazar and Ina. Balthazar is definitely impressing you with their skill in this chess game, Ina. And we'll do... Let's see. Ina, do you have proficiency in insight? You do.
I do.
Alright, in that case, we're gonna go based solely off that. So, Ina, maybe you're like a little bit distracted trying to teach. But Balthazar does get the upper hand against you. And it's sort of a best 2 out of 3 situation. Balthazar like lost the first one. But by the end, Balthazar does get the better out of the 2 out of 3 in y'all's matches. And Balthazar, I have already added, you are now proficient in chess.
Oh,
You have learned to play.
sweet.
Yes. So, by the end of that, we had a 19 and an 18. What do you learn about each other from your game?
Who goes first?
Oh, I lost, so I'll let you know first.
Ooh.
Balthazar would learn from watching Ina and their features. And because you didn't get a nat 20, you don't get all of it. But you did learn that Ina is reactionary and seems to be a poke the bear type of person.
Yeah.
But also that there is a very minuscule braid in their braid that is made entirely of feathers.
Oh. Huh.
So you don't get the fun thing Finer learned, but you get half of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I've been trying to think how much I hold back, but definitely as Balthazar is playing, he's a lot more. I don't know if this is the right word for it, but like conservative, protective of his pieces. Like he's very careful as to where he puts them. Sort of deal.
Learns how to castle and does it every time.
Maybe something like that. It reads more like he is both capable of planning, but also has that sort of flexibility in his mind to sort of pull wilder moves. If only because he's also new at chess and he doesn't know the proper like formations. So it's like he's moving his pieces in a way that both essentially ensures that he doesn't lose them as much on the board, which is probably what costed him the first match, which was he was too busy protecting the other pieces. He forgot about the most important, the king piece. And the other two is basically him taking that lesson and just scattering his pieces so that they're not as easy to pin down, essentially. But he's gonna take note of the tiny braid and sort of like zero in on it and just kind of quietly ask, does that have any meaning? And he'll like point into, like, he's not gonna point at it, but like towards himself in like the vague direction where he sees the braid.
And his hand's gonna reflexively go up to it, and you're just gonna see his fingers dig into the bigger braid and just rehide it.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that not meant to be seen?
It's, it's a courtship thing. I should have gotten rid of it a while ago, but I'm still quite attached to it.
At the mention of courtship, his hand does twitch. The hand that's closest to the his little tassel that he's kept wrapped around his waist now. It kind of twitches towards it, but doesn't quite touch it. I think I understand what you mean by that. You don't need to explain anything else.
If you're curious on the custom, I can explain it to you sometime, but I it's complicated.
If you are willing to share, I would be more than happy to listen to what that custom might be.
Of course. We typically, while in a courtship, offer our partners something handmade. Tyr gave me my necklace, and when you accept at least a marriage from your courtship, or you become quite serious about it, you braid each other's hair and you leave something in there to stay. I left little flower petals in his hair, along with a couple tiny little owl bones, and he left me feathers of his pet, not familiar. Typically, after the courtship ends or your significant other dies, you're supposed to cut out the braid to signify you have moved on. So, it's not supposed to be there anymore.
Balthazar kind of tilts his head towards Aina and like he's not hiding his emotions. There's full sympathy in his eyes. Is it not meant to be there anymore? It's grief doesn't have a time limit. Your grief doesn't have a time limit, no matter what others might think.
Of course, and I know that. But to see it on someone, even if you didn't know the meaning, this long is quite unfathomable for my people. I think usually the max is maybe 5 to 10 years. Usually, the next person in the courtship, because our numbers do dwindle fast. We are usually set up with another partner, or somebody makes their interests known after a certain amount of time, and they'll unbraid it when things get serious if they love them.
Was that what happened to you? I know it's been a while, but you did mention having two partners at some point.
Odin was a very sweet girl. She we tried for a courtship. It didn't really work that way. And I ended up seeing her more as a sister. There's like a really faint blush on Ina's cheeks when you mention it. It looks very
Very what? You cut off.
sheepish.
Sorry. Oh.
The it's not like I didn't try, there just wasn't spark.
Balthazar kind of has a sad smile on his face and he shakes his head. You don't have to explain it to me. I think I understand what you mean.
Oh no, this talk is now awkward, and Ina's just packing up the boards like, I'm done with this now.
Around this time, I'll also mention, just to help with the awkwardness a little bit, Ismark is coming back with a new viol with him. Heading back
New
into the
what?
church. A viol.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, instrument.
Yes. And just because y'all have a sense of time, funeral's probably getting ready to start. And with that, we'll have Ismark re-enter the church just in time as Donovich is slowly finishing up preparations, he says. Right. It's about time that we do the procession. Irina and Ismark, would you be kind enough to lift the coffin for me? They'll get on both sides and pick it up. Any of you who would like to come, you are more than welcome to, but from what Irina told me, it sounds like you didn't know the deceased very well, so wouldn't blame you if you'd rather not. Some fellow
I'll
words.
go help carry the casket.
Much appreciated, Donovich says, with a small smile.
I'd help carry the casket, but I don't think I'll be much help. But I'll follow along to pay my respects, even though I didn't know him.
Irina gives you a little smile. Just says, thanks.
Yep.
Thanks for the offer to help either way. And Porum?
I'll go along as well.
Alright. We've got the squad of all of you. And yeah, very shortly after going in, you'd see the funeral procession heading on out. If
Bubble.
Balthazar or Ina care to engage. If not, you obviously don't have to. But I wanted to give you the option.
I'm gonna let Balthazar be cut off by the procession stepping out, and he sort of watches for a moment before standing. Are you thinking of joining?
I mean, at this point, it would be rude not to. At least they're out of the church. After you.
He'll nod and duck through. We'll come up towards the back, essentially.
As well, Ina, and when they leave the bubble, it dispels, so.
Y'all will approach. Now I can safely say, y'all are the first group that I've ran through Strahd who hasn't used the funeral procession as an opportunity to poke the vampire in the basement.
Oh my god!
Whoa! Almost thought of it! I was like, 20 HP!
20 HP with the 18 passive cleric right next to you.
Yup. I could still do it. I could still sneak away.
We don't have the spell slots.
Excellent.
I could
Excellent.
still do it.
All right.
Don't
Give
do
me
it.
just a quick moment here. I will show y'all what the graveyard looks like. Alright, put y'all's tokens down. We'll move y'all up just a bit. That way we'll save on time. Because it's a long map and y'all don't need to use all of it. You're just looking at a graveyard, really. Biner is helping carry the coffin. Is anyone else going to offer to help carry the coffin?
I mean,
Short.
Right.
how is Vine
Yeah.
holding the coffin?
Yeah.
You know, y'all are probably like got them all up, got the coffin up on everyone's shoulders. You're probably like dancing. No, it's got handles on both sides, so like you know you can grab it on one side and walk with it like in the middle between all of yous. So Ismark and Irina are on two sides, Biner's on one side. If somebody wants to be a counterpart to Biner, they could.
Balthazar will do it.
Right. That'll bring us with
Oh, the 18 perceptions leaving?
Perception.
Perception.
Listen, it's
perception.
passive perception.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to click on that token. There we go. Alright.
Hey, Ina, walk with me. And I'm gonna run up and put my arm through Ina's arm and pull them with me behind the procession.
I love it.
Bless your soul, Penny.
What did you glean from in there?
Lots of stuff, but we'll talk later.
Oh god, not this music.
Oh. Strange.
God, are we gonna have to fight? I hope
Yeah.
not.
Are we
No.
fighting, Derek?
That was a glitch. Sorry. It was supposed to keep on playing the same sad music that had been playing. So
Yep, 100 zombies appear in front of us.
that's right.
That's fair.
How
many of
bad.
those?
We'll have
Oh,
to
I
run
see what
over.
happened. It got glitched out with another map. Okay. Two maps got overlaid on one another. That's very strange. But we're good now. Y'all should be looking at a graveyard now. Yes?
Yes.
Thanks. Zoom out here. Perfect. The stream is caught up. Marvelous. Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. Let's see. Anything else? That's good. Perfect. So, as y'all walk through here, you'd walk past a fence of wrought iron, a rusty gate that encloses a very large plot of land behind the dilapidated church. Tightly packed gravestones shrouded by fog bear the names of souls long past. All seems quiet, aside from the pitter-patter of rain, as you all make your way up towards the catacombs of the Indirovich family. Donovich would be the first to enter after setting down the coffin, just lighting a couple more candles inside. We're not going to have to go through all the details of it, but all of y'all head down the stairs and into this catacombs as he leads you and begins speaking some funeral rites that Porum you're fairly familiar with. Very similar to the rites said for your captain when they sadly passed that one day, way back when. You see,
Hey, yeah.
Yes. Ismark and Irina stand closely by. Donovich will begin by saying, "He's a good man and a good father with a very open heart. May the terrors that haunt this place never reach him here. May he reach a blessed and eternal sleep, where the light of morning may shine upon him." You fought very well, Kolya. Now, it may be your time to rest. Glances up to Ismark and Irina, who both step forward to say their piece. Ismark resting a hand on the tomb. Taught me everything that I needed to know to be a good man. To protect people of this land, and to protect my family. More than that, to help me learn how to enjoy the smaller things, even when it feels like the rest of the world is on fire. To take happiness where you can get it. In a place that might see you down more than not. I'll miss you, Dad. Thank you. And he'll step to the side and begin playing a soft tune on his instrument. As he does, Irina too will step forward and say, "Donovich told me that apparently you had just found me one day on a hunting trip out in the woods. Don't know what 4-year-old girl was doing out there amongst the trees in the mist, but I want to say thank you for bringing me into your home and giving me as happy a childhood as you possibly could. For loving me as a father, even though you didn't have to. I'll never forget your kindness, and I hope to bring that kindness. All those I meet along my journey, whatever that might entail. Thank you." She'll step to the side. Nobody has to, because I certainly don't want to put people on the spot. But I imagine that Balthazar also has a holy symbol on their person. Donovich would have heard them saying a prayer when they entered the church.
Yeah, his holy symbol has been hanging around his neck. Like, he doesn't hide it.
Yeah,
It's the little upside down, or like downwards facing crescent moon.
yeah. Donovich will turn to the rest of the group and say, "I don't know too much about the gods that you worship, I'm sad to say, but if you do have any rites you'd like to impart, anything that might help consecrate this place, do imagine Kolyan would have appreciated it, if you would like to." And that is to the whole group. So if anybody has something they would like to do, this is an opportunity for you to show off some of your backstory. If you'd like.
Balthazar would step up for it,
All right.
but oh. He is just going to put a hand at the bottom of the casket, and other hand will grasp it as holy symbol, and I know there might be a fair bit of distance between my connection to you now, my lady, but I ask that you welcome his soul into your open arms as you have for many. Protect him, keep him safe. Allow him rest where he could not have here. And hopefully ensure that nothing undue will happen to him. And he is going to mutter a few specific prayers under his breath. It's probably not going to be, not necessarily in the languages listed that he knows, but probably like a different sort of common. But it'll just be like a few send off blessings, and afterwards he'll step back from it and give a nod to Ismark and Irina.
Thank you, Irina will say. Sir, very kind words. Hopefully help him rest a bit. Donovich gives you a nod and says, love to hear more about your god or goddess sometime if you'd be willing to share.
Perhaps. And he'll give them a smile, and Ismark, he's gonna give a nod to Irene. He's gonna actually reach out and like give her shoulder a gentle squeeze of like reassurance before he'll bow his head to them both and step back out.
All right. Well, I will give Ina and Penny just a little bit of leeway to get into trouble. After all of y'all say your blessings, I am going to give them a little private scene, just in case they want to chat about something before others intrude. So we'll have you stay up here for the time being. Did Biner or Porum have anything they would wish to do?
I do, but I'll let Porum go first.
Okay. Since Porum kind of got the vibe that Father Donovich used to, or is what Porum used to be, if that makes any sense in English right now, he's gonna try to take a knack at some of these funeral rites prayers and see if anything happens.
Absolutely. Let's see. I've got. I'm gonna take a peek at something real quick. Ooh, marvelous. Right. Make me a religion roll at advantage.
I'm gonna guidance myself just in case. Oh wait, I can't. There's magic. Damn it. Never mind. I forgot.
I mean, if this helps at all, he did mention that he did see his student use magic and recognized it as divine. So you could take a chance on him if you want. I can't guarantee that he won't pull out a shotgun and shoot you, but if you would like to, you could take a chance.
Fuck it, I'll take a chance. Let me just let a hand first.
All right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you
This
can
is
do that secretly if you like.
Yeah, it's still at advantage for religion.
Yes.
Why did it
Alright.
even need it that time?
Uh,
Oh, whoops. That was 2d4. There we go.
yes. So something interesting will happen, but before I have that thing happen, go ahead and do me a solid. If you think of anything, that is. If not, we can skip over it. But if you want to describe anything that you think would be cool to have be a ritual of Lathander, Morning Lord, regarding the dead that you would like to describe here as you're making this attempt, or anything you would like to say, if you want to improv, go for it. And if not,
Woo!
no worries.
Put me on the spot, Derek, I see. Uh,
You're gonna get something good out of being on the spot, I promise.
for ritual, the only thing I can think of, Porum would go up to, Father Donovich, and I assume in the Church of Lythander, they would have some sort of like incense burner like they do in like Catholicism.
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know
got
what
one
that's
of
called,
those.
but yeah. And kind of just take it out of his hand and taking some of the flowers out of his crown, because he can just make another one soon. He is going to crumble them up a little bit in his hand and put them in the incense burner, kind of to get like the aroma from the flowers in the incense burner, and kind of just pass a couple circles around the body. We'll say 4 times clockwise and then 4 times counterclockwise. Kind of like just giving the body like a smoke bath.
Mhm.
And then with some of the ashes from the incense, he would take some on his finger and then just draw a like a sun on the horizon, so just like a half sun on the forehead.
Mhm.
And
I love
then
it.
he would say some words that I can't really think of at the moment, but it would probably be along the lines of he's called the Morning Father, right? I'm like,
The Morning
uh,
Lord.
Morning Lord, there you go.
Yes.
It'd probably be along the lines of as the morning's light reaches this body, so shall the Morning Lord's favor and blessings. May peace be upon you. Something like that.
All right. As you finish that sentence, I'm sad to say this, despite your sleight of hand, something magical does happen. As that symbol of the half-sun, the horizon, the early morning dawn, begins to glow a warm, vibrant orange as the rising sun would. You have ritually casted ceremony without using
Oh.
the material component that would be necessary. You have done the funeral rite in combination with the saying that Balthazar did before. You said you were trying to reach out a little bit to your god as you do.
Yeah.
Donovich's eyes light up for a moment as he says, "You must carry a true blessing of Lathander as well. It's good to see it. Thank you for blessing him."
Porum's eyes are just gonna go wide and kind of look over at Balthazar, and he's just gonna mouth to him, "I didn't know I could do that."
Who didn't know he could do what? The spell? Or, like, Balthazar's, like, just blinking and looking at Porum, like, the expression on his face reads, "What do you mean you couldn't do that? That's, like, basic clerical duties."
Well, it's never been anything to that extent. It's, kind of like what we saw earlier. It was just, you say a couple words and the body just sits there, but none of this orange light ever happened.
Does Porum say that?
Donovich looks a little embarrassed for Porum.
Yeah, no, Balthazar just has, like, his head stays tilted and he's just looking at Porum, like, it is the face of, you could read it as, like, the bookworm, the prodigious sort of genius kid staring at the other kid of, like, did you not pay attention in class? Hello? This is basic?
Porum's mostly just like in shock, like something like clerical magic actually like Lathander actually hurt him again. I was like, oh crap, that's right, I can actually do that.
Irina will say,
Nerd
"Well,
jock interactions is what I'm coming out of this with.
if it's any help, I've never done something like that either. I think that's
God.
pretty cool. Thank you for that." Giving Porum a little squeeze on the shoulder. That does bring us to Biner.
Just seeing that, he's thinking, well, geez, I don't think mine's gonna be as cool, but
It might be.
so he'll reach into his bag and pull out his star map and slightly unfold it so it only some of the stars appear, and then he'll quietly under his breath kind of thing say a chant, and then from the star map you'll see stars kind of pull off of the star map and form a stairwell kind of up, and he'll just say, "May your soul follow these stairs to the bright lights up above, and may you shine brightly for many years to come and look favorably down upon your family." And then he'll close the star map and the stairs will disappear.
Mark and Irina are in awe by this display that you have done. Ismark will slowly begin to slow his playing as he turns to you. Thank you for that, Biner.
You're welcome. Hopefully he can sleep in peace.
I hope so too. And now for something a little bit fun. For you, Biner, sadly, Balthazar already has this. But I will let you give it to somebody else. All of you who went up here and you just role-played your hearts out. And I put you on the spot, and I appreciate it. So, Porum, Biner, Balthazar, if you don't have inspiration, take one. Balthazar, you can give your inspiration to someone else if you like. Although it looks like Ina's the only one who doesn't have it. So Balthazar, if you want to give it to Ina, you can.
Rip me.
Nah. You can also deny you have the power. You can be like, no, not for you.
I don't trust what you're gonna do.
It could save me down the road.
It could save you down the road, but it might also allow you to just, you know what? Fine, fuck it. Take the inspiration. Hopefully you
Enable
don't
RJ's
die. I will
antics.
be so angry.
Enable RJ's antics.
This isn't
Fun.
enabling. This is me in trying to ensure Ina doesn't die again. With your 20 HP.
All right.
Good amount of
Level
HP.
All those rituals will take a while. And it sounds like Ina and Penny, from what I read, are fucking off back to the church, yeah?
Yeah.
We
Right.
are no longer the first group to not mess with the
I know.
vampire.
I shouldn't have said anything.
And as we do that, I'm gonna look at Ina and I'm gonna say, if I do this with you, you have to swear and promise me no more pretzels.
Oh.
Oh, this is quite the ultimatum.
Oh.
Promise me that and we'll go.
Mm.
Good Penny. She's doing so good.
I promise I will never eat pretzels.
Are you lying?
Do I look like I'm lying?
Insight check.
Let's do an insight versus deception.
Oh,
Yeah, Penny.
Big lie.
Get him.
Alright, you got me. Those pretzels are really good.
Then we're not going. You can't promise me to stay away from the pretzels. We're not poking the bear.
I will promise you peaches. I
Nope.
will. No, you don't want to take peaches.
Nope.
Oh, bless you, Penny.
That's fine. I still have to resummon peaches anyway. I don't think I want to get pretzels from somebody that, killed peaches.
Just to make a peach pie.
oh no, Derek.
Dust of a familiar.
I heard it's a very
It's
rare
it's just
seasoning.
black sugar, powdered sugar. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I really shouldn't eat pretzels that came from somebody that A, took the gold that I put with peaches, and B, killed peaches.
Ina, if you want to go, I won't stop you.
Alright. And I just starts walking off.
And I'm going to turn, I'm going to look at Binur and Balthazar and Porum and
I'm
yell,
gonna book it.
I'm just going back to the
Let's
church.
run!
Well, I will say they aren't out yet, because y'all did have quite a bit of time. Those rituals would have taken a while. So, when
I'm
you
still yelling. Outside
Still
yelling. And I'm going to run into the church, or into the...
running.
Considering Balthazar
Well-
was the first one to finish his whole shtick, would he have been the first to
I'm gonna-
notice Penny running in and screaming?
I'm gonna add something, because there is something that would probably happen in that brief moment when Penny was turning around to go and shout that. Ina, your back is turned, because this is coming from the opposite direction of the church. So you're probably not seeing this as you're running in that direction. But Penny, you see a figure approaching the graveyard on a big horse.
Do I recognize this? Do I recognize this figure?
It's a little dark at first, but they start getting closer. And as they start to get a little closer, you do recognize this figure.
Oh,
Is it
Though
Strahd?
we might not recognize this face because we got some cool new art that I'm going to show off of him
Oh,
my
no.
God.
that
Oh,
Cosmic
no.
did for us.
yeah, Cosmic.
Thank you, Cosmic, for this lovely art. As this figure is approaching on a pale horse that has flesh that hangs from it strangely. An undead horse, quite clearly. It seems to have a little bit too many legs.
Oh no.
But he walks up, looks down at you, Penny, from his horse. He just says, "Hello, we meet again. Your friend seems to be in quite the hurry."
No. They're just taking a walk.
Ah,
They'll be back in a minute. They gotta use the bathroom.
well, my business is not with them, Poosey. I'm glad to see that you found the gate okay.
Yeah, I found the gates with no problem.
Wonderful. Well, I hope
Is there
you...
something I can help you with?
No. And then he turns and begins walking towards the catacombs.
Oh no.
Balthazar.
Y'all haven't quite come out just yet. So Penny, if you do want to say anything as he turns to walk towards the catacombs, you may.
Okay, well, I'm gonna... Hey, where are you going? Why are you headed that way? What are you doing?
I must pay my respects to the late Burgomaster, of course.
Who says that they're in there?
I think that they are in there, he says.
Are you
think
sure about that?
once.
How loud is Penny being when asking him as he's like
I'm
going?
gonna turn around and yell, Ina, help me!
I would automatically skid to a halt because A, they expected to hear Penny running after them more than anything.
Mhm.
B, even though with the rain, there's probably like awkward, like long conversation across the graveyard that would pick up.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you turn around, and I didn't get a good look. Didn't give you all a good look at the horse, so I'll do that now real quick. Or at least the horse's head. You don't see the sort of flaps of pale flesh hanging from it. Yeah.
And can I, after I do that, I'm gonna look at Strahd and I'm gonna start to take a step forward and, can I pet your horse?
Certainly.
And I'm gonna walk up and start petting. What's your horse's name?
Bucephalus, he says with a wide
Bucephalus?
smile. Bucephalus.
Oh,
Wow, that's a wonderful name. How long have you had your horse?
I will say, and Ina's probably making their way back while you're doing this. Where are you petting the horse? Because its neck and head are pretty devoid of skin, but the rest of its body does have flesh hanging from it.
Can reach. I mean, like, I'm
Yeah.
short, so
Probably.
wherever, like, I can reach, I'm just kind of, like, really lightly, like, touching, like, in my mind, I'm going, this is gross, but I'm like, no.
Well,
Worse.
it's grosser than you would have thought, because as you touch the skin, you feel something moving beneath it. As it shifts, as if somebody is pressing their hands against the skin, trying to get out. And you notice that all of its skin moves like that, but it's not just hands. Faces press against it. All sorts of things like that. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of pull my hand away and take a step back. Is your horse okay?
Well, it has been dead for a while.
He's
Hello
not
there.
hungry, is he?
He looks towards Inez there. No, not at the moment. Though it can
See,
eat.
I told you my friend was just going for a walk and had to use the bathroom. See, they came back.
Ina's eyes are pretty wide, but it's this weird, morbid, fascinated look on. Just, it can be read very clearly. Like, this horse, and like seeing the movement, it's just like, what the fuck? But at the same time, how?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, he is wearing different clothes from when you first met him. By the way, Penny. He is in this very regal-looking red armor with some gold inscriptions on it. And he has a very long black cape that he's wearing as well.
Well, Mr. Strahd, you look very nice. Are you going into battle?
I am going to honor a warrior, so I must present myself as one.
Well, would you like me to go in before you and announce you to the others?
You are very kind, Poosey. But no, could be just fine. Though you could introduce me to your friend.
This is my friend Perry. Perry, this is Mr. Strahd von blah, blah, blah. Sorry.
The Ina's face just kind of scrunched to the side, like, what the fuck?
Zerovin.
That's it. Perry, this is Zod von
Zarovich.
Orbit. I'm not good with names, I'm sorry.
It is okay, Poosey.
Poosey.
Hello?
It is nice to make your acquaintance.
As it is yours.
Are you one of Poosey's friends?
I am. I came with her from the mist.
Ah, you are one of the ones who was stuck there, I see.
Yes, I had a very helpful but unhelpful guide to take me to her.
Ah. I'm glad you found each other. Were able to find my gate.
I'm sorry if this seems out of turn. You're the owner sounds like the wrong word. You rule this realm.
Yes. That I do.
Then I would hate to inform you this, but there is another that seeks to rule what you have.
Ah. You speak of the druid.
Yes, Block.
I have become aware.
He is someone I am also looking for.
I see. Then perhaps
Maybe
we shall have business together. He'd say with a smile, and then turn to Penny.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Maybe we can help each other out.
Certainly. But for
What
now,
you think, Harry?
I do know. Can I get a insight check on Strahd to see how damning the evidence I would be revealing would be to myself? If that makes sense, like
I don't know what evidence you're speaking of.
if I tell him I can know where Block is at all times, how would I be able to tell what kind of position I would immediately put myself in?
Right. Yeah, you can roll an insight if you like. I'll have him roll a deception publicly, so you'll get a feel for how hard he is to read.
Probably super hard. Yeah.
Oh boy.
He's just smiling at you.
Oh, Lord.
Ina doesn't say anything. They're just gonna kind of quiet down and see they're concentrating on something, and Penny probably would be able to see it. His shadow is shrinking to match their size.
Alright. Roll me an Arcana, I'll say, to do that the stealthy way.
I'm gonna use my inspiration real quick.
Go for it!
Oh,
A little better, it's not
what?
great,
It's like, I think I
but
gave it to you.
It is not able to beat his passive perception, I will
figured.
say. As he glances to your shadow and says, "No worries, I have no plans on stealing your shadow today, little one."
Oh.
I thank you for letting me keep it.
Of course. There's only one thing that I enjoy taking in these lands, and I try not to take it off, he will say. As his horse move up here a little bit before he dismounts.
How Ina's gonna call out, how does one become like you are? We're just stalling for time and I know it.
And yeah, it's around this time that Balthazar, I think, was the first to emerge. So Balthazar, you'll be the first one to pop your head out of the catacombs, and you'll see a very undead horse and a noble-looking fella who, you know, hard to say exactly who he might be from this distance. But you can maybe make an assumption. He looks very, very noble.
Cool. He's immediately clocking this guy and the undead horse, and considering their experiences with undead horses, and then immediately like looks to Penny and Ina, and even from a distance, he's like giving them once-overs, like, are they okay? Are they hurt?
They just seem to be having a conversation.
Oh. He's going to turn into the room, back into the catacombs real quick. Like he hasn't stepped fully out of it yet. And will hurry down to Porum and Biner and just says, "Keep them down here for a moment. Something's going on outside." And is going to more calmly walk back out as if he'd just left.
Okay. Ooh, another friend has appeared. Look at that. Robin
Oh,
says.
yes. And I'm gonna look and point and say, "Oh yes, Mr. Strahd, that's my friend Peter. Peter, this is Mr. Strahd."
Excellent. Before we interact anymore, though, we haven't really given Biner and Porum a chance to react. Biner and Porum, would you follow this direction, or would you all be heading on out?
Well, are we done with our casting of our rituals at this point?
Yes, you are. And Balthazar just told you there's something going on outside, and asked y'all to stay back, I think. So
He's not asking them to stay back. He's asking them to keep the 3 civilians inside, please. Thank you. That is essentially what his words were trying to mean. It's not stay back here forever. It's keep the ones that are most likely to immediately die inside, please.
Mm-hmm.
I
Just standing on the side.
Yeah, no, I know that. He's keeping an eye on things, but like, considering the situation, he's in full stress mode and is keeping his emotions on lock.
But yeah, would Biner and Porum decide to stay back, or would they be like, "You're not my boss," and go out?
I would stay back.
Okay. What about Porum?
They don't have to stay back. It's just find a way to convince the people inside to stay inside.
Porum's gonna keep an eye out at the entrance.
Yeah, you can take a little peek. I
So
will
I'm
let you
thinking
know.
that-
They trust you, so if you tell them to stay in, you're going to be a little worried, but they will do it. But, yeah. In that case...
Let me ask you guys a question real quick as he turns to the 3 of them.
Mhm.
Do you guys believe in cremation?
Oh.
I mean,
Not our team. I'm talking to Ismark, Irina, and Donovich.
This Mark. Sometimes that's what you have to do. Is that what we have to do here?
You might. Do we have anything that could start the process quickly in here?
I mean, they had something to light the incense, so I'm guessing, right?
The coffin's made of wood, but to cremate something, you do need quite the pyre usually. So, y'all might be lacking resources without magic.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay.
And also, it would be very hard to stay in this underground tomb while that's happening without
Yeah.
choking to
Well,
death.
we wouldn't be staying. We would be lighting and we would be leaving.
Okay.
But since there's nothing that really, I don't have anything prepared that would help us.
Ophelia isn't here. Our poor tinderbox.
Yeah. I'll just say I think there might be something going on out there, and knowing what you guys have been saying, I was just trying to figure out how we could protect you guys and possibly the remains of your father.
Right. Well,
But stay here. We're gonna go up to the entrance.
all right. The two
I'll
of
call
y'all...
you if I need you to come.
Sounds good. Two of y'all will hang out at the entrance then, as Peter shows up. And Strahd says, "Hello, Peter, my friend. Well, friend of these 2 friends, who are now my friends. It's good to meet you."
Pleasure to meet you as well. And he's going to give. Oh God, it's full on panic, but he has manners drilled into him, and he's doing like a full on 90-degree angle sort of bow to Strahd.
Oh, I see someone knows their etiquette. I like you, Pete.
Manners were drilled into me for my order. What would bring you here? Sir Strahd, what should I call you? And
Sir.
he's like, oh man, there is fight and flight breaking out into a fight inside him right now, and he is keeping as cool as a cucumber.
Mm-hmm. There are those in these lands who refer to me as their Dread Lord, but you may refer to me as Strahd. You are guests here. Or if you must use a title, Lord Strahd, will do.
Lord Strahd, then. He's glancing towards Penny and Heina, like, what's going on here?
Ah, you asked why I am here. I am here to pay my respects to the burgmaster of this town. It is only right as noble of these lands.
I'm sure. I'm sorry, but is that normal in these lands? I'm quite used to having etiquette from where I come from dictate that the family be given time to mourn over their loved ones before anyone else be given space to pay their respects. I assume it is different here. And Balthazar's just, oh god, he is both bullshitting and also just like using whatever knowledge he has from his own order and the lands around it to just bullshit things.
Indeed, it is a bit different. But I do not blame you for your lack of knowledge. It is okay. He's gonna look back to Petty and Hannah and sort of leans down a little bit because they are shorter to say, "Your friend seems nervous. Are they okay?"
Oh, Peter's always nervous. Don't worry about him. He'll be fine. He's always like that. He's just a very anxious sort of a person.
Ah, I see. Well, he will probably be more worried if I approach him, so I will just sort of... And he does like a little wave of his hand before he grabs his cloak and flies 40 feet up in the air and then lands on the other side.
Oh,
To make him more nervous.
Yeah, no. He spins around, but it's terrifying. It's taking every bit of like will and self-control to not immediately grab his crossbow.
Ina's gonna grab Balthazar's hands and just hold them tightly, like to the side, like they're holding hands, like it's not like, oh look, this is my tall friend. He's slightly nervous. I'm trying to hit you.
It is okay. Not to worry, he will say. I will just do my thing quite quickly and then we can talk, yet? He will say with a quite flashy grin.
It would be nice to learn more about your lands, Lord Strahd. I'm stumbling because I'm nervous.
I would be more than happy to share. You are my honored guests. And he will give, unlike Balthazar's nervous one, just the most confident deep bow he can.
Oh no, it wasn't a nervous bow. It was... He's not showing his nerves. He's very stiff, but he's not, like, shaking or trembling. That bow was perfection to a T.
I get you. But
He's-
you
he's
described
just
it as stiff,
fancy.
so I'm saying this is very fluid, very
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Yes. Then he will say, "Oh, it looks like perhaps somebody else is also late to the funeral. Hello." And he waves behind you. And behind you would be who else? But
Oh.
Ophelia.
Man.
And we're
Oh.
gonna end the session there.
Oh,
Fuck.
Damn
We're
it.
gonna have the whole party there for him. But yes, we're gonna hop right into some stars and wishes now. And we'll start off at the top with Chris. Chris, any stars or wishes for you, my friend?
Good role playing. Was curious if we were going to poke the bear. I'll be definitely interested if we poke this bear a little bit more next week. So, good
Well, it's gonna
session.
hurt more.
This one has the potential to kill us even more than the other one did. Let's be real.
This one also ignored my question of how to become like him.
Sure did.
Not become like him, or vampires work in general, but yeah.
Though I will admit there was quite a bit going on. Multiple things to answer, so you can always try again. Maybe he will.
Mixed results.
Yeah. Who's to say how that'll go? But any wishes for you?
No, I'm just saying I'm just
Oh,
looking forward to next week's game.
hell yeah.
You poke that bear.
Oh yes. That'll bring us to Jen. Any stars or wishes for you?
Just all the role play was good.
Yeah.
I just wish and hope that we don't die next week.
God. Ain't that just the thing?
Yeah. It'll be fine. I believe in y'all. That'll bring us to Cosmic. Any stars or wishes for you?
Ah, fuck. All the RP was friggin' fantastic. Biner out here spilling secrets left and right of the mist to Irina was just a facepalm time, but also just amazing to listen to. It was great.
Yes.
And then Penny just popping off, questioning Donovich was spectacular. And Penny had a lot of stars
Absolutely.
today, especially with her just being like staring down Ina like, I'll help you with poking the bear if you stop with the drugs, was just
It's great.
wishes. There's a thing I want Balthazar to ask Strahd. I don't know if he will, but there's the temptation to, just as a part of distraction. But can't
You'll
wait
have
for
a
next
week to
session.
think on it. Good stuff. And that'll bring us to RJ. Any stars or wishes for you?
My stars this week was Penny in general, the whole session. Just, I enjoyed it so much.
Absolutely.
Also, the Strahd reveal was so good.
Thank you. I
My wish
appreciate
for
it.
next week, definitely gonna be Ophelia just stumbling into all of this.
Yeah, that was actually a request I was going to make for all of you, which is don't tell Corey what happened till he watches it himself. Talk about it vaguely. It'll be fun that way. Of course, you don't have to, but also could be fun.
Listen, I was gonna spill some tea, but we can keep this end bit away from him. That's
Yes.
fine.
Yes. Unless RJ, have you already sent a message to let him know?
All he's gotten was Peter and Perry, and there's no context, just Peter and Perry.
Excellent. I love it.
I got other names.
I can't wait to hear Penny's other names for everyone else. All of them. Do all of them just start with P? Is that it? Is that the theme?
It might be the theme.
I guess, right?
Spectacular.
They
We'll
got
just have to
to.
wait and see.
I love it. That'll bring us to Migs. Any stars and wishes from you?
Stars was definitely just Aina and Aina Cosmic, Aina Balthazar RP, and Penny RP just all around. I like Penny 10 out of 10 for rehabilitation.
Absolutely.
Wishes. I wish Corey was here so we go a little longer, but I like RJ. I can't wait to see Corey's reaction to this dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if things had gone a little bit differently, I was gonna end it with just describing Ophelia seeing the horse with Strahd walking towards the graveyard on their way back. But I saw my time to do it. And the time to do it was right before the chaos of Ina's running into the church happens. So I'm like, alright, we'll have him appear now. So that way it won't be awkward in the middle of while everyone's in there. Yes, my stars and wishes. Definitely some great roleplay from everyone. Some good lore that y'all collected today. I really liked hearing the way y'all all described your funeral rites. And an anti-star for myself for having the Strahd music set up to automatically play on this map.
The page.
But for my wishes for next week, I am just very excited because now the whole party will get to hang out with Strahd instead of just Benny. He's fun to play, so that'll be good. Let's see if we got any in chat. Dane always has one.
Yes.
The session's RP with Chef's Kiss, and I'm excited for the party to die next week. I mean, have a fun interaction. RP between Penny and Ina was fun, and loved the dragon chess. Wishes that I would send the horse's token for the thumbnail. So I'm gonna do that. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming today and watching the stream or watching on YouTube, and thank you all for being excellent players. We're gonna wrap up for now so we can have more excitement next time we get together. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.